What up, everybody? It's the Built Different podcast with a very special guest again. A guy that you guys should be familiar with from a couple episodes ago, and like a couple of the posts on Instagram and so forth. Extropian athlete, Chris Geliga. Chris, what's going on, man? It's been a little while. How you been?
Doing well, doing well. How are you doing, Ricky?
Can't complain. Can't complain. I'm glad. I'm glad you've remained in contact. I'm glad that you're getting back into the ring again. I'm excited to see you again. It's been a little while.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm excited to get back in there. I've been kind of working on some different things, been working on some different styles, so excited to kind of show some new wrinkles in my game.
So how have the last couple months been? I know we've touched base, but let the audience kind of know. And I know Sean hasn't talked to you in a little while as well. But how's everything been the past couple months?
It's been good. I started working at the gym that I train to fight at. I'm now a coach at the Jungle. So now
Oh,
I'm
nice.
there pretty much all day, every day. Whether I'm training clients or training myself, it makes it nice and easy where I can train a couple of clients, train myself, train a couple of clients, go home, go eat, go relax. Things are going smoothly.
Oh, I didn't know you. I didn't know you took a coaching position. Congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
You have any fighters under your belt yet, or like are you gonna? I know you have your coach. Are you coaching with him, or are you gonna kind of do your have your team maybe, or your set of fighters?
So I'm gonna help assist with different cornering and stuff like that. So they taught me how to wrap hands for fighters and everything. So I'm gonna be helping for combat night on the 25th. But also very excited. My girlfriend's gonna be doing the point kickboxing match on the 26th. So gonna be cornering her.
Nice.
I've got Allison that I'll also be cornering as well for the 26th for the PKB as well. So. Yeah, just kind of building that up. I've got a couple more people that I'm trying to get to that level as well, and then just helping with the fighters as well.
Yeah, shout out to your girlfriend's Alex, right?
Yeah,
Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Allison. Watched them train a couple times with you, so no, that's very interesting. I got to corner for the first time. It's not really as too much instruction, but a lot more motivation for Bree. But it was a cool experience, man. I enjoyed it,
yeah.
and she got the win. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Congrats on that. So a little bit more about your up and coming fight. Like, kind of tell us a little bit about the organization. Tell us about who the opponent is, and the date and time and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, so it's February 1st. It's out in Largo, Florida, almost like Clearwater. It's gonna be Sunset Promotion. It's a new promotion. They've
Hmm.
been around for about a year. So I actually don't have a lot of information on them. I believe their last show they live streamed it on Instagram. But
Okay.
in terms of my opponent, young kid, he just turned 18. He's got a ton of experience. His supposed record is 9-3. When you look him up online, he's 15-3 or something like that. So he's got a lot of fights. I think it was or was it 13-5? It was something like that. He's got 18 fights. Um, and so when you have kids that have been fighting, some fights get recorded, some don't. Um,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, he's just young kid with a lot of experience. He's really fast. A very traditional Thai, good skills. Yeah.
Excuse me. And this is Muay Thai still, right? You're still fighting some Muay Thai fights.
Yes,
Your
sir.
bread and
Throwing
butter.
those elbows.
So, I know you've been training over the past couple months. How has it been like getting back into a camp again? It's this kind of like your first official training camp. Like training is one thing, but getting into camp and grinding is a little bit different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been funny, just having guys around the gym, just guys that are just getting started off with fighting, and they're like, yeah, we know Chris is good, but we've never really seen him really take training serious, and now they're getting to really see that. It's been fun.
Mhm.
Um, Training's been going well, no real injuries, nothing going on. Everything feels good, body feels good, the weight feels good. The last training camp, the weight just wasn't coming off, and this one it is. So everything's going really smoothly, everything's going really well. Training's going well, pushing the pace more than I ever have. Everything's just going really smoothly. Like this is probably one of my best camps I've ever had.
Still 145, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which is, interesting because you probably have grown more into your body now, like more man strength now. You know what I mean? Like gotten a little older. Stay at 145 is good. You know what I mean? Staying lean and strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that like even at my heaviest, like I don't really, I don't ever really bloat up. I think the heaviest I've ever been in my life was like 174. Um,
Okay.
so that's when I'm like absolutely just eating terrible food and, not really training. I never really stopped training completely, but obviously like not going on runs and stuff like that. So, the max I'll ever get to is like 170. But this training camp, got some time to relax and everything, and then just got right into it.
Would you say like the year off, you kind of doing more teaching and helping out other people at the jungle and cornering and so forth? You feel like you've learned a little bit more, like you were a very kind of studious fighter, like you know what I mean, knew the game inside and out. You've been training and teaching for a while now, but you think that year off, like you've kind of learned a little bit more, like you've added things to your game based on your time off and just kind of sitting on the sidelines observing and teaching.
Absolutely. I've done a little bit of cross training as well with some different coaches, and these last 2 months, I've learned more in the last 2 months than the last 2 3 years. It's been very valuable. Just really focusing on coaching and then kind of seeing some things on the outside that I've been able to incorporate into my game on the inside. Um, one of the best ways to learn is to teach, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then seeing, the people that I train go through some of the things that I went through years ago, it helps when I go through some of those things now, right? You're always going to have a down day in training as part of, growing as a fighter and part of life in general. So it's been really interesting seeing the people that I train going through some of those things and experiencing them myself and going like, all right, cool, I can coach them go through it. I can do that for myself as well. And then just some different styles, some different ways to approach the fight, some different ways to approach how I strike has been very valuable. And it's not necessarily that I'm changing everything that I'm doing, but I can mix it in. And I'm very excited to show how I'm able to mix everything up.
Now that's great. So what would what would the ideal 2025 look like for you? Like kind of what's your goals? Not looking past this opponent, but say you get through this fight. Um, maybe what would you like to get out of this fight first and foremost? Like, is that knockout, or would you rather, a lot of fighters that haven't, that have some time off, they want to get some ring time and, maybe knock off some of the. Hopefully, it's not rust in your case, but a lot of times people want to like get that ring time and get some experience time in, or you looking for that like flash that flashy knockout, and then like what's your goals? Like say you get through this fight and you do it the way you want to. What's your goals? How many fights this year, and what would you like to see in 2025 overall?
Yeah, so right now I've got a 7-0 record. I'm trying to get that to 8-0, obviously. But I'm 7-0 with one finish, right? I need to
Hmm.
get some more finishes in there. So the goal for 2025 would be get to 10-0 with four finishes, right? So with three more finishes this year, that would get me to 10-0 with a 40% rate of finish. That would be a lot better
Hmm.
than 10%. Um, so that's the goal. The mindset for this fight is try to get him out of there in the second. He's a very tough fighter. He's shown that he can kind of withstand some pressure and overcome it.
Hmm.
But I don't think he's fought at 145 ever. And so I want to kind of introduce him to the weight class a little bit. Kind of show that size difference, and then in the second round go and get that finish. And then from there, that'll get me to 8-0. Ideally, get another two fights in there. I also have some different coaching goals as well. So, I'm hopefully trying to get my girlfriend into combat nights this year as well. Trying to get some
Yes.
other people into full contact as well, into combat night, into dynasty fights, into whatever. Um, so it'll be fun if I can get myself to 10 and 0, and then get some of my fighters to also compete as well. That'll be a very productive 2025 for me.
So then, say you reach all of those goals, and not looking too far ahead again. Like, what would what is 2025 the setup for you going into the next year and the following years? Like, where do you see yourself going if you accomplish all of these goals in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the goal at this point is to make it go pro at some point, right? So if I can get to 10 and 0 with 4 finishes, me and my coaches will sit down and have that conversation if it's the time, or maybe we decide, what, let's take a couple more fights and let's kind of smooth things out. Um, yeah, it kind of just depends on how it plays out. If I'm able to get those goals, then let's see if going pro on the local stage is the move, or if it's, let's take a couple more AMI fights and just continue to dominate.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. No, I'm excited to see you back in there again. It's the past couple years have been, even other fighters been quiet on the fighter front and going to the fights. It's always a fun event to go to.
Oh yeah,
The champ time for you was amazing as well. That was real cool seeing you having the two holding up those two belts.
yeah.
Um, what do you what would you say? What would you say? Ultimately, after everything is said and done, what would you like people to kind of say about Chris as a fighter, as a coach, as a mentor? Like, when you walk away from the sport, you kind of retire and you look back, what would you like your legacy to be?
That's a difficult one to answer because at the end of the day, right, it's up to other people to kind of set what your legacy is. I truly don't believe in like I'm the one who sets what my legacy is, right? It's the mark that you leave on other people. My
Hmm.
big thing is always just the analytical mindset to martial arts. I say all the time, it's not a tough guy sport; it's a thinking man sport. Um,
Yeah,
so I always try to think about things as kind of analytical as possible. Um, I've studied my opponent over and over again. I had an opponent that pulled out, unfortunately. I studied his fights. I studied my fights over. Um, Really just kind of taking a more studious approach to the fight game, and really trying to break things down on a different level that 90% of fighters don't do. And then doing that with my students as well, doing that with my fighters as well, just having them constantly like, all right, cool, let's watch film over. Cool, let's break it down. Let's slow down the video. All right, cool. Where's your foot position here? Why did this punch land versus why didn't this punch land? And playing that game of inches, um, just being smarter with it.
do you ever see yourself? Because I know this is kind of like Muay Thai fighter heaven is going out to Thailand training, coming back to US opening your own gym. Is that something you would ever look at? Maybe I know you don't like to look too far ahead, but is that kind of like something you envision for yourself?
I definitely want to get the visit to Thailand. That is definitely a goal of mine. Um, you know, it, if it's possible, that would be something that I would try to shoot for end of 2025, if that opportunity opens up for me. But yeah, ultimately going to Thailand, getting that training out there, and seeing on a world stage, am I really where I'm at, right? I've done it across 2 states now. I've done it across Florida and Colorado.
Yeah,
So I'm confident on the U.S. stage. But what about on the world stage, right? Let's take that next step up and let's see where we're truly at, right? So that Thailand would ultimately be the goal. In terms of opening a gym, that would be like super long term. That would be like 5, 10 years down the road. So
yeah.
that's not really where I'm really mindset is at right now. Right now, the mindset, of course, is just on this fight, and progressing from there.
So yeah, let's let the audience know like where they can find you. Like we'll post the link to the fight. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, got to get mindset like you said is on this tonight and having a beautiful performance and growing from there. But yeah, tell the audience where they can find you. Let them know a little bit about the fight. You know, maybe get them a little hyped to see you again out on the stage. So yeah, you know, where can they find you? How can people reach you?
Yep. So my Instagram is DK underscore, and then it's my last name, which is Geliga. The fight is going to be February 1st. It's going to be out in Largo, Tampa. 7-0. I've got my last fight was my first finish. About to continue on that streak and get another knockout. I've got a very exciting fighter that is very technical that I'm going to bring the fight to him and go for that second round finish. Um, this fight is going to be WBC sanctioned, so this is going to put me on a world sanctioning record. So
That's cool.
this could put me on a WBC um, ranking system, and this could put me onto possibly becoming a WBC champion, right? They just put out guidelines that you have to have 10 fights to be a champion, but that's fine. Go and beat another two people after this and go and get that belt. I am already Combat Knights 45 champion. I'm already Laleo Code's 45 champion, right? So maybe after this, I go after Dynasty Fights 45 championship belt, and see where the world takes me from there.
No, that's what I wanted to hear, man. I wanted to hear just, you know, get the dynasty. That's pretty cool, the WBC rankings. That would be dope.
Yes, sir.
You know, entering those rankings. Like, but yeah, no, excited. I'm gonna be there. Excited to see you represent
Yes,
the
sir.
jungle. See you represent Extropian. Just see you be the best version of yourself out there, man. And I like your approach as well. That you know, not because I'm the guy that likes to think ahead a lot, but I like that
Yep.
you're focused on the here and now. I like
Hmm.
that you're you know you're not taking your opponent for granted. Just handle your business on February 1st.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's got 18 fights. He had his first fight at 8 years old. This kid's been fighting for 10
Oh
plus
wow,
years. Oh yeah.
wow,
So the experience is going to be a next level for sure, right? I never take any of my opponents for granted. I never go in with the mindset of they're bad or whatever. I just go in with the
yeah,
mindset that my preparation is going to be different, right? In terms of that next level of thought process, in terms of the preparation for the specific of the opponent, right? I mean, we've gone through all of his fights and recorded every single strike that he's thrown.
wow. Okay,
So there's a different level in terms of what we're doing here, and that's fine. And he can even see this and take that into a granted and throw in some different strikes in there. But at a certain point, it's all the same thing, right? Um, and then with pressure, things are going to change, and he's going to resort back to what he normally does, right? Which is high level traditional Thai fighting,
hmm.
right?
No, no, I like that approach. Like the really analyzing your opponent and you know studying them and studying the habits and I like the approach. So with that being said, man, like again, um, we appreciate you, you know, rocking with us with Extropian and you know, allowing us to kind of come out to the fights and be a part of the events and everything like that. And excited to come out and see you put on a show again, man.
Yes,
Looking
sir.
forward to it.
I appreciate the
So
support.
yeah, yeah, as always, man. So with that being said, we'd like to thank you guys. Thank Chris. Thank Sean in the background recording. And yeah, tune into the fight, and you know we'll catch up with Chris after the fight. So that being said,
Absolutely.
thank you guys for another great episode of Built Different podcast. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.